Okay, so we got the King's military heritage done. So now we can go for the Kingsguard primacy. And then realm secured, which will give us 15% stability, which is going to be pretty huge. The Kingsguard was brought into existence very soon after Lydia's father proclaimed himself Rurik II. They have remained well-equipped and relevant to the court of the king, but many of the guards have greater ambitions. Princess Lydia plans to help them fulfill this in exchange for an increase in her own influence over the veteran unit. She promises riches and glory from fighting in the king's future conquests. All she wishes in return is the ability to exert her authority over the guard whenever she believes it is required. I definitely sense a coup coming up. She seems like the type of person who would do a coup. What happened to India? That I don't know. Like most of the Commonwealth nations, I have no idea what happened to them, and I don't know if anything's really been written about them yet, at least nothing public. So India, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. The only one that I do know about is South Africa. See, I think India's ruled... Well, no, it's Nehru. And then Chandra Bose. And there is no Pakistan. There is only an Afghanistan. Communist revolution in the Levant. After the catastrophic Italian failure to keep the region stable, Italian rule in the Levant has broken down, forcing Italian troops to retreat from the region after suffering massive losses against the local insurgencies. In the ensuing power vacuum, the Arab nationalist movement, led by George Habash, has seized control of the region, proclaiming the People's Republic of the Levant, a large front to several communist, socialist and other leftist movements. The ANM enjoys large support amongst the Arabs, who fiercely oppose Italian imperialism. However, the new People's Republic appears unstable at best, as there is little unity between the numerous guerrillas, militant groups and organisations that make it up, and Zionist opposition to the communist government is already starting to flare up in the Jewish majority areas. A revolution in the Holy Land. No longer get the effects from raising an army. That's okay. Didn't really use it anyway. There's no way you have the equipment for it. And then we're going to get the Kingsguard primacy, and then we've got one more focus. So that's 50 days maximum. We'll be 90 days behind. I wish we'd started this earlier. I really do. Huzzah! Okay, so the raid is about to be finished in 3 days. 2, 1. Neutral state of Vologna has declared war on the free state of Kostroma. Okay. And now we can spend some of our loot. Academic base, industrial equipment, industrial expertise, or agriculture. Now, agriculture, I think, is the one area that we do not currently have growing. So I think we probably want to focus a little bit on agriculture, seeing as we're currently on basic mechanization. Mass mechanization would be good. Less use of consumer goods because of that. And monthly population will grow slightly more. So yeah, I think we're going to invest in that. So at least everything is going up. We could invest in one of these to make it that they go up faster. But I think we want that agriculture done. So I think it's time for another one of these. Increase construction speed, increases consumer goods factory usage. I think that's the one I want to use. Because again, we're trying to build those two up alongside each other. So we now have 30% usage of consumer goods and 0.3 construction speed. How much consumer goods do we actually have? Oh, we're on 0. Minus 25%. Okay, we need to stop investing in consumer goods, because apparently we're really good at that. Like, the people get nothing. Okay, Kingsguard primacy is finished, so let's secure the realm. With the changes to the king's new society made and the wolves appeased, if only temporarily, our state can focus its attention on other concerns. In preparation for our expansion, the new model of society has started to bring stability to the realm, something that has relieved everyone, from the farmer toiling in their collective farm to the king himself. His Highness hopes that the internal squabbles between his children have ended, not just for the sake of his own threadbare sanity, but also the kingdom's longevity as a whole. No, definitely not. And this is going to increase our worker discontent a fair amount. We have plenty of consumer goods factories right now, so I'm going to go ahead and give them some concessions, just to keep that under control. Dealing with dissent. Oh dear. The King's Guard commander, Yarov Brunin Liechtenstein, entered the room, eyeing the skull sitting on the desk. Oh, that. It's just decorative, said Princess Lydia, smiling, who was on the other side of the desk. You're not scared, are you? No, Princess, course not. The commander replied uneasily, looking up to face Lydia. I have to report you might want to see. The commander handed it over, not knowing how the princess would read it in such a dark room. Interesting. Very interesting, replied Lydia with a slight smirk, skimming over the report. Socialist newspapers spreading rumours of a strikes, attempts at unionising, and... Have you dealt with these problems at all? The commander coughed and looked down at the floor. It seemed to be the nicest part of the room. We captured 3 of the agitators, my princess. We believe there might be more. And does my father know? Not yet, although I could go tell him now. No, you can wait, said Lydia. Make sure they don't do anything else inside the capital itself. Your payment will arrive once you deal with the rest of them. Just be sure to keep a low profile. Yes, Princess Lydia. The commander began to step out the door. We assure you, these socialists won't reach any of our workers once we've dealt with them. This cancer cannot be allowed to spread. Discontent rises. Okay, definitely a good thing that we're starting to try and curtail the spread of this. Warlord Molf, thank you very much for the bits. Very much appreciate that. And Metgath, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription. Welcome to the Modelings. Rasmus Luminen, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Neutral state of Vologda has defeated the Free State of Kostroma. Shorn of its protectors, the neutral city has been thrown to the wolves. Still can't raid anyone. It's almost like this area is starting to stabilise. Can't be having that now, can we? Is there a good place to read the basic description of this mod? The mod page on Steam? And actually, that's a good point. I should probably create a link to that. And update my mods list. Copy page URL to mods. Because I can't be bothered to look up the URL. And this is Arts of Iron 4. The New Order. Last Days of Europe. There we go. Give me a second, I'm just going to edit my mod list because I have not done this for a while. Get rid of you. Rimworld we haven't done for a while. Kaiserreich we have. So we'll drop you to the archives. Bo's birthday. Nice. Please don't spam chat. Alright, Mountain Blade, Bannerlord. We're going to archive for now, though I'm going to stick that at the top of the archive, because that's definitely coming back, probably next week. Because Bannerlord have just announced there is a new update coming out. End of the New Beginning. Archive. I'll leave Old World Blues up there, because that is another one I'll definitely be revisiting. Okay. Kaiser Reich, Old World Blues, and Last Days of Europe. Perfect. But yeah, good to hear that Bo's got his birthday today. Is he streaming for that? Already broken 3 stream chats. I don't know why you're bragging about that. And training is now done. So we've got all of these guys who are now fully ready to commit themselves to the greater glory of the Tsar. Very tall one wants me to drink some tea. That I can do. And Kalinas also wants me to drink some. Admiral Thomas Morrow of the OFN's Indian Ocean Command affirms that the situation in German Madagascar has reached a stage of open rebellion against the government of the Reichskommissar Emil Morris. Although Madagascar, much like other German territories, is plagued by the issue of native resistance to colonial rule, Morrow confidently announced that it was the German garrison which mutinied. Earlier reports also confirmed that both the native Malagasy and the Jewish population of the island had subsequently taken up arms. No comment on the uprising was forthcoming from Germania, with unofficial reports indicating a general indifference to the island's fate. Experts agree that, with the political instability regarding the succession of Adolf Hitler, the island, often used by the Reich to exile those who had fallen out of favour, is unlikely to receive much attention there. And Madagascar declared war on the Republic of Madagascar. 4, 5... Wait, is that a 3-way or a 4-way? Civil war in Madagascar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn! Huzzah! You don't have a focus. You don't have a focus. You do have a focus. You don't have a focus. Huzzah! So the Reichskommissariat of Madagascar is the only one that does, but I'm guessing that they've just finished this. Or not. I'm not sure. Samuel, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Very much appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Valcutta and Leia Issue, congratulations on the gifted subs. Thank you. Okay, on we go. Interesting game would be if he played the previous game and tried to win as Germany. I mean, that's basically what my introduction to Kaiser Reich was. I played, Crusader Kings 2, playing as Proto-Prussia, forms Brandenburg. EU4 as Brandenburg into Prussia. Victoria 2 with Prussia into Germany. Great War mod for Hearts of Iron 4 as Germany, won that war, then played Kaiser Reich. I don't remember if I streamed or recorded the Crusader Kings part. I think everything else I did. That was the Army with a State series. And we have 3 civilian factories, because we've actually finished building the thing. We should probably build another thing, seeing as my civilian factory is so low. Though that's going to be 9 factories, then I think we'll probably do this. I don't know. Let's finish this one first, because our construction speed should be pretty crazy. Our realm secured. National focus completed. Okay, so how much are we on? We're on 99 days. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I should have started researching that tank way earlier, and we could have got a bunch of free tanks. I mean, 1960s as opposed to 1950 battle tanks. But as it happens, we're going to get 1950s ones. The other question is, am I actually going to be able to use them? I mean, we do have 26 army experience. So yeah, we can. To defeat those who oppose us, we must fight with strength and determination. What is stronger and more determined than a tank? Our enemies will fear our might when they see the superiority of our army, combined with tanks that can turn them into dust. Mixed with motorized infantry, we shall roll over these hostile armies with impunity. However, armoured divisions take a while to train, but the reward once we mobilise them will be immense. We will have the speed and the strength, not just to defend, but also to conquer. We must make it worth our effort, though. Losing too many tanks that we cannot be able to replace will be costly. Matai assumes control of the Gulf. The Italian victory in the Italo-Turkish War has reinforced the hold that the Italian Empire holds over the Near East. As Turkey's expansionist dreams have been quashed, Italy has reaffirmed itself as the hegemonic power of the Arab world. In the wake of the victory, Enrico Matai, the chairman of the ENI, has successfully pushed for his nomination as the governor of the Italian territories of the Persian Gulf. Matai's nomination as governor further strengthens the hold that the ENI, the Italian state-owned oil company, has over the Persian Gulf. The company was instrumental in developing the region's infrastructure and oil industry, and has a long history of productive collaboration with the ruling classes of the Arab world, and with the monarchies of the Arabian Peninsula and the Gulf Emirs, and even Qasim's regime in Iraq. Now, more than ever, ENI is the keystone of the Italian domination in the Middle East, and with Matai in charge in the Persian Gulf, the company will be able to expand its influence more than ever. Oil is the lifeblood of an empire. So where was the uprising? There. So what did he just take control of? Saudi? Ah, here. Governato del Golfo. That makes sense. Which does have a focus tree. Reign of the Oil King. Interesting. I think my first Kaiserreich game was as Germany. That does make a lot of sense. Your multiplayer game was intense, seen so close yet so far. Oh my gosh, 2 hours outside of Moscow. Literally 2 hours. I was counting down, and then the last second managed to sneak in some more guards and stop me taking it. 2 hours from probably not capitulating, but seizing Moscow. And from there I feel like we possibly could have been reinvigorated and probably done a bit more against the Soviets. But when we failed and then they reinforced the living daylights out of the region, opportunity was gone. Yeah, Kemerovo, I believe, is a 10-year. 0 scale, thank you. Confirming that. Am I crazy, or is the Mediterranean east of Italy weird? I don't know. Does something seem to be wrong with this? Yeah, you had nothing outside of Moscow at the end, so we probably could have, like, completely surrounded the Moscow area, but that was kind of breaking the spirit of some of the rules I implemented, so... Yeah, I assume that we're a very production-dense nation in this area. We also have a very, very efficient government, and I'm loving this Siberian plan. That massive reduction to consumer goods is huge. Probably a bit too huge. I think I may have gone a little bit too deep down that path. A day with the family. The Krylovs were not your standard run-of-the-mill family. With 2 siblings like Yuri and Lydia, how could it be? Any discussion between them was bound to end in disaster. Although Rurik was hopeful this one would be different, bringing the whole family together, even Boris, who had not cared much about running the kingdom. Rurik has hopes this will finally end his children's squabbles. As each of the children entered, things started well. Rurik decided to steer towards something all of them would enjoy, the unification of Central Siberia under him as king. It wasn't long until Lydia decided to take the conversation in a different direction, though. If we want to unify the region, the military needs even more funding, father. We need to make sure we conquer our enemies swiftly before any of them can put up a strong resistance. What are you talking about, Lydia? Yuri said. Opposed to anything... Yuri said, opposed to anything she said. More has to be done for our subjects, not the military. Besides, should we not try to approach things diplomatically first? Are you that naive, brother? Lydia responded coldly. Do you really think the surrounding warlords would just let us peacefully integrate them? The Germans would just hand back Moscow? Yuri stuttered to the delight of Lydia. No, I... Be quiet, both of you, King Rurik interjected, angry that nothing had changed between them, despite all of his efforts. I brought you here so you could finally get along for the sake of the kingdom. Just end your bickering. Boris, you haven't said much. What do you think we should do next? Boris looked at his two siblings. Who's Boris? This is the first I'm hearing of a Boris. Both angrily eyeing him as he prepared to speak. I don't know, father. Whatever sounds best to you. Yuri and Lydia restarted their arguing match, both trying to get their point across. Rurik sighed as he felt yet another headache come on, tired of the quarrel that seemed to divide his entire kingdom. Maybe when they are older. Where the hell did Boris come from? That is literally, I think, the first mention of Boris. Was Boris one of the generals? Yeah, he is. Huzzah! Boris Krylov. Oh, he's the armor guy. We were actually using him. Maybe he came up because we're doing the armor system, the column of tanks. Because he's going to be in charge of the tanks. I think that he might be a bit of a kingmaker here. Macappy Face, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime resubscription, coming in with a 10-month resub. Thank you. 10 months. Huzzah! Raise the dragon banner. We go raiding. That's a good point. We should check the raids. And that's also a doctrine. So we are going to work on the next one. We're going to go for, I think it was attrition planning. Yeah, for that max planning, juicy bonuses. As much as I'd love to improve the strength of our tanks, I don't really care about planning speed. Small, well-fortified redoubts will serve as an early warning systems against incoming enemy attacks. If positioned at certain strategic positions, these redoubts can delay offensive for hours, even days. So we use the infantry as a defensive bulwark, and then we use the tanks to punch holes. Following the release of information implicating Yasuda Holdings executives as ringleaders in the corruption scheme turned murder investigation, the Titanic Zaibatsu appears to be in dire straits. When the Tokyo Stock Exchange opened earlier this morning, the floors were flooded with frantic shareholders begging for their orders to be processed first, and frightened interns carrying bins of sell orders through the chaos. Already Yasuda's holdings have entered freefall in the mass liquidation of assets held in the home isles. Guangdong, Vietnam and China have created an economic power vacuum set to tear the sphere economy apart. Experts predict that Zaibatsu is on life support, and unless Ino's cabinet can be mobilized to produce a miracle, a total collapse of the corporation can be expected as soon as next week. What falls faster? A man or his shares? Ouch! Uh-oh. Economic wars. The men stood by the sill calmly and waited for their turn to jump. Tokyo Exchange Secretary out with a crash. DEFCON 4. I mean, we went all the way up to 2. Things have chilled a bit, down to 4, but I have a feeling they might heat up again soon. Oh yes, and we also need to check decisions. Because we still can't do less talking and more raiding. So we are instead going to improve some of this stuff. And we definitely don't need to decrease consumer goods factories anymore. I actually don't know. I don't think I want to reduce production efficiency. Although that increased production gain. Oh, but what's the point of gain if you don't have the maximum? That one increases the maximum. Okay, so if you do these two side by side, they basically cancel each other out and provide bonuses instead. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do that. Does India have a focus tree? I don't think so. No. Zero scale, retired, had IRL stuff, used to be the England team lead. Ah, nice. Yeah, I was curious about England. I'll probably play as them in the future. Alright, onwards. "82 days until better tanks. But too late." Militant Madagascar has defeated the Republic of Madagascar. And then there were 3. Oh, sorry, Militar Stadt, not military. So we've got the Reichskommissariat, which is like the German remnants. Militar Stadt Madagascar, which I'm guessing is a military junta. And then the Hitlergut movement. Ah, which is the Jewish state. I'm assuming in this timeline that the Germans did what they wanted to do and exported the Jews to Madagascar. So it makes sense that they would rise up. King Farouk is dead. Farouk I of Egypt has been reported dead by joint statements from Cairo and Rome. Notorious for extremely lavish lifestyle, in recent years he's gone on tours, trips and benders of increasing cost and intensity, almost bringing Egypt to bankruptcy through his partying alone. He has now died the way he lived, gouging himself in all kinds of luxuries. It is doubtless Egypt will now face troubled times with the death of their king, but some certainly also praise the loss of a man who made them foot the bill time and time again. Others suspect that perhaps he was poisoned by would-be usurpers, but currently the primary belief is he simply ate too much. Shocking. Recommend playing England after the patch drops, then you get the full 10 years. Cool.